Well, welcome, gentlemen. It was a productive and fun draft weekend. I just wanted to come on here first things first and say thank you, everybody, for coming down and participating and making it a fantastic and fun draft weekend. Special shout out to Jack as the new guy in the league. You handled yourself very well and you fit in well with the group. So happy to have you. Now, that being said, that's about enough positivity. Let's get into this draft recap and some season projections. Now, number one, we'll start off with the champ. Obviously, I'm going to win everything again. You guys let me get some absolute steals like Chase Brown, first pick of the third round. Chase Brown, we're going to look back and think he should have went like third or fourth overall. So, bold prediction, Chase Brown outscores Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs this season. He won't outscore Saquon because nobody outscores Saquon, but he will outscore those guys. So I don't need to spend much time on my team. My team's going to dominate, and it is what it is. So we'll move on to the team that was picking second, Tony Jr. And Tony Jr. got the Burrow to Chase stack. It cost him a little bit at the RB position, going that route. He has RJ Harvey. I kind of thought maybe that was a bit of a surprise pick. He probably should have gone with, since he didn't have another good safe RB2, probably should have went with Isaiah Pacheco there. So, because we don't even know if RJ Harvey's going to play. It was a gutsy call. He did pick up Javonte Williams later, who I guess is the starting running back for the Cowboys. If you feel good about starting him in a 10-team league. All in all, Tony's team has a puncher's chance because he has Burrow to Chase. Drake London should be in for a massive year. That's going to be my bold prediction for Tony's team. Drake London is his team's wide receiver one, not Ja'Marr Chase this year. I think Chase will have a great year. Don't get me wrong. I just think Drake London's going to be elite this year. They're going to throw to him a ton, and I think they're going to be chasing points a lot because, Atlanta sucks. There you go. There's Tony. And I think Tony has a team that's going to compete for the fourth playoff spot. Will he make it in? I don't know. He'll be in that 4 to 6 range that he usually finds himself. You don't want to face him in the playoffs, though, because that Burrow to Chase stack could just carry him to a title. Now, Joe, I thought Joe went with his guy, Bucky Irving, in the second round. That was a fantastic selection, Joe. Bucky Irving's an absolute beast who could be the best running back in fantasy. Hindsight's 2020, but probably a little early on Brock Bowers, considering Kittle and McBride both went, 2 full rounds later, essentially. So probably a little early on Bowers. That being said, he probably is the best tight end in fantasy. If not, it's George Kittle, but we'll see how it plays out there. Omarion Hampton at the time I thought was a good selection. The further out we get for the draft, the worse it looks. We'll see how it looks on Friday against the Chiefs. I mean, he comes out in a 50-50 timeshare with Najee Harris week 1 after Harris missed the entire offseason. That's a big problem. That's not ideal at all. It probably means they don't trust the kid yet. Wide receiver is something Joe's probably going to have to work on. He basically, from round 10 on, punted every one of his picks. The Niners D, probably the only playable thing there. Keon Coleman could be a thing, though, to be fair. But guys like Rashad Bateman, Michael Pittman, Cedric Tillman, you can't play those guys. And nobody's going to trade for them. You're never going to start them. Those are classic roster cloggers. No reason to have those guys on your roster. I love the value with Bo Nix, so I'm going to go my bold prediction. Bo Nix, top 5 fantasy QB this year. He's set up very well for a big season. Now, where's Joe going to finish? He built a solidly middle of the pack team, just like Tony. I'm going to say Joe finishes somewhere between 4 and 7. He's got a little bit lower floor than Tony because he doesn't have that mega stack. But, solid team. If everything breaks Joe's way, he could make the playoffs. Now, Steve did not draft a solid team. One of the biggest underdogs of week one, Josh Allen. You guys already know my thoughts. Taking a QB in the second round is just reckless. The opportunity cost is way too high. And you're going to feel that on the rest of your roster. And that's what you see with Steve's team is the rest of his roster is lacking compared to some others because he went way too early on Josh Allen. So you look at, Aaron Jones in the 7th round, Jordan Mason in the 9th. You're not even starting these guys, and you didn't even draft your wide receiver 3. So all in all, horrifically bad draft for Steve. Not the worst draft, though. We'll get to that in a minute. But Steve drafted a team that's solidly in the 8 to 10 range. That's where Steve's going to be. Even with Josh Allen, you heard it here first. Josh Allen is not going to be the super stud he's been the last few years. I think Josh Allen and the Bills are they're kind of cruising for a bruising. I think they're going to have a down year. And we'll see about that on Sunday night when the Ravens just beat the crap out of them. So there's Steve. Again, we spent a lot of time on Steve at the draft. You all know what he did wrong. Jack, for a rookie, not bad. Not bad at all. I don't love David Montgomery and Ramondre Stevenson as your RBs 2 and 3. Joe Mixon may or may not play football this season. So, I thought that was probably not very good. Your first few rounds, you were hitting home runs. CeeDee Lamb, Jonathan Taylor, T. Higgins, Jaden Daniels. But then taking Sam Laporta over Trey McBride and drafting David Montgomery at all, Ramondre Stevenson at all, not ideal. Jack did a solid job, but I'm going to put Jack in the out of the playoffs tier. He's not going to make the playoffs with this team. He's going to have to make some changes if he's going to make a run. Now, Jason drafted from the 6 and feels like he kind of got forced into the Christian McCaffrey pick, but it's not true. You didn't have to take McCaffrey. There were still better players on the board with less risk. Brian Thomas Jr. and Chase Brown come to mind, but, either way. Lad McConkey, I love him. I thought you went a little early on Calvin Ridley, but hey, get your guy, dude. Baker Mayfield, love the guy. Jason's got a solid playoff contender team. Jason could finish all the way up at 3, all the way down at 5. He's going to be in the 3 to 5 range, led by Derrick Henry. Of course, if Christian McCaffrey goes down, Jason's just screwed with a capital S. That is, it's really tough because the fantasy weasel owns the handcuff. So, good luck trying to pry B-Rob off of Jared when Jared's certain he's going to get hurt. So that's where I'm at with Jason. Really CMC dependent, and that's a lot of risk. So I kind of see Jason maybe not making the playoffs. Now, if CMC stays healthy, 3rd place finish. Reese drafted a GD contender, guys. It is what it is. I don't mean to – I'm not trying to be mean here or anything, but, you drafted – Puka, Kyron, Adams, we've seen this before. You never make the playoffs this way. These are your guys, I guess, get your guys. The picks that really stuck out to me like a sore thumb of not ideal were Zay Flowers and Debo. Those guys were taken probably a couple rounds higher than they probably would have gone had you not taken them there. I know we've talked about Zay Flowers. He's great for PPR. This isn't PPR, though. So, the guy caught 4 touchdowns last year with Lamar throwing 100 touchdowns. So, if Lamar throws 35 touchdowns, he might catch 2. So, Reese is a GD contender. There it is. Now, Jared, speaking of perennial GD contenders, Jared actually had a really good draft. I thought Jared did very well, much better than he normally does here at the draft. Jefferson, Nico, great way to start it off. Achane fell all the way to pick 28. Tyreek Hill, though, horrible selection there. 33rd overall, and the vibes are horrible with Tyreek Hill. It's ugly. I think Tyreek Hill's going to suck. But good news for you is you have Egbuka and Judy. You can plug one of those guys in, and you're going to have to a couple weeks into the season. You'll see how it goes. Tony Pollard, probably maybe a little early on Pollard, but he's a solid, safe running back. Breece Hall is not a solid, safe running back. He sucks. Everybody knows he sucks. Braylon Allen's probably taking his job. But your worst pick was Kyle Pitts. I mean, TJ Hawkinson's still on the board there. Travis Kelce. I don't love Kelce, but I like him better than Pitts. If you were shooting for upside, you could have gone Colston Loveland there. You could still drop Kyle Pitts and go get Jake Ferguson, or Dallas Goedert would be better. But, I understand if you're pot committed. So Jared, again, right around that fringe playoff range. Now we got picking ninth, the patriarch, Tony Sr., who shocked the world by taking Ashton Jeanty. I think that's the first time Senior's ever gone rookie running back in the first round. Was not expecting that at all. I was very surprised that he went Jeanty over some of the safer stud wideouts available there. Can't say I disagree with it. Jeanty's a stud. We all know that. So, but, much like Steve, he took a QB early, and, the rest of his roster suffers a little bit from it. You got to walk the fine line. I get you guys want Josh Allen. You want Lamar Jackson. It's a fine line to walk to where to take those guys and not miss out on other superstars. But when you're taking these guys in the teens, you're drafting these guys over mega star players. So, we'll see. Will it work out? I don't know. Lamar had probably the best season he'll ever have last year. Hard to imagine he does that same thing again, since that's never been done before. But if he does, he was worth that pick. Yeah. Senior's going to finish in second place, probably be playing me in the Super Bowl after Steve just, bends over and takes it from him on a trade. And that's probably how that's going to go. So second place finish for Senior. You should all be thanking him for taking Lamar that early, because he would have drafted an absolute juggernaut had he not. Now, Kevin, we're looking at the worst draft maybe in league history, and we gave Steve a lot of shit. Kevin kind of escaped some shit talk here. Kevin is projected by both Yahoo and Fantasy Pros to go winless this season. 0-15, the worst team in the league. I was shocked that at 10, I wasn't shocked that he went wide out. I was shocked that he didn't take either Nico Collins or Brian Thomas Jr. with either of his two picks. Those were the clear top wideouts on the board, in my opinion. You can make a case Neighbors is better than those guys. I don't think Amon-Ra, you can make a case Neighbors is as good as those guys. Amon-Ra, I'm a little concerned. New offensive coordinator. I thought it was really early for James Cook. Terry McLaurin, you drafted the two poster childs for touchdown regression. Both of those guys thrived on an unsustainable touchdown rate. No way in hell that happens again. Those guys were not worth the 30th and 31st selections in the draft. Trey McBride was a steal at pick 50. Just a terrible draft all around for Kev. So your 2025 golden douche, Kevin McBride. That's how it's going to go, guys. So there you have it. I'll hit you up tomorrow with some matchup previews. That's all I got for you for now.